Welcome back to my channel. I am Becca and today I'm going to be filming a cook with me. I was going to do this last time I cooked a roast, but it didn't go so well because I didn't have the stuff to make a Yorkshire puddings, which is obviously crucial when you're having a roast dinner, and my gammon burnt down, so it went very well. I skipped a weekly vlog this week because it was just a little bit samey. Lockdown life is the same for me. There's nothing interesting going on. So all you people that have weekly vlogs, I admire you. Today I'm going to talk you through how I make my roast dinner, particularly how to cook gammon, how to make roast potatoes, which have already been chopped up by my wonderful assistant Richard, and Yorkshire, how I do my Yorkshire puddings. Now, some of it will be stuff that's typical, but it's nice to just talk to people whilst I'm doing it. So let's get started. So the first thing that I always prepare whenever I am doing my roast dinner is the roast potatoes, because it's better if you get them started early and then they're just ready in the saucepan, ready to go. What we have here is we've got some chopped roast potatoes, a bulb of garlic, and a lot of rosemary. I have rosemary in my garden, very lucky me, but I know some people won't, so just rosemary from the shop is fine, and I've got about this much because I use a shed load. And finally, we have sea salt. It could be table salt. Table salt is fine. In fact, table salt is probably better. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the pan with the roast potatoes in. Let me bring that into view a little bit more. And I'm going to chuck a load of salt in there. That will do. Next step is to get some garlic. I am a really big garlic fan, so I will be putting about 4 cloves into this. Yes, I'm a really big garlic fan, so about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, dependent on the size. Now this recipe that I got for the roast potatoes, I actually got from my sister, because she is a pretty awesome cook and her roast potatoes are epic. So the important thing for me when I got the house was to be able to make these. They're just really nice and crispy, they've got a lot of flavour, but they're really fluffy on the outside, or on the inside, and then crispy on the outside. Can't get my words out, I haven't spoken in front of a camera for ages.
I've been here before for too many days, not enough time to get me away from feeling like I'm misunderstood.
So now we've got salt, garlic and garlic in here. We're going to add rosemary to this. I like to pick apart these little bits. You could probably just put the whole stalk in if you wanted, but if you're getting a bag of it from the shop, it's a little bit easier. Our house came with a rosemary bush, so we were very lucky. Oh, I can just smell. It smells so strongly of garlic and rosemary already. It smells fresh.
Then I walk in to the opening scene. It always seemed so serene. You're feeling like you're misunderstood.
And this can now be left an hour before you want to serve it up, because we're going to part boil them and then roast them. So that can go there. The next thing that is important to prepare early, really early, is the gammon. Now the reason I say that is because what you really want to do is you want to boil the gammon first, so that it becomes nice and soft and juicy, and crumbly, and then you put it in the oven for an hour so that then you get the nice glaze. Ordinarily, I would be using Coca-Cola and I'd be making Coca-Cola gammon, but today I don't have any Coke, so I'm going to use Dr. Pepper. Anything that's sugary is good because gammon's quite a salty meat and you need the sugar to kind of counteract that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out and put a can of Dr. Pepper in and then mix it with water.
Stood holding me up.
I always remove the little skinny thing because I always find that it's much nicer to try and easier to take it off now than later on. So if we remove that, much easier. And all we do, plonk it in there, my can of Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, what's the worst that could happen?
Just with a kiss, you know.
So you can see that that doesn't go all the way to the top. So we're just going to use water to make it so that it fills so that it won't bubble down and boil down. And this is the finished result. Well, part finished result. So now that I've got the Dr. Pepper and the water with the gammon, I'm going to put this on quite a low heat. And I put it on a low heat for a long time. Ordinarily, if I were having roast dinner as a lunch instead of a dinner, which we are today, I would have started this at 9 AM so that then it would be able to go in, and I'd probably put it on a higher heat. And the reason that I would do it then is because then it would be ready to go into the oven to be roasted at about midday. But today it's currently 12:30 and I'm going out for a walk. So I won't be doing the roasting bit until about 4:30ish. So I'm putting this onto a low heat. Rich is at home, so it won't boil down and burn today. And then we shall see what happens.
When this life you just can't miss, and I wonder why.
I always have to wait a couple of seconds because my hob is nice and temperamental. There we go, perfect. So that's the gammon on and the roast potatoes prepared. There are two more things that I like to prepare way in advance, and that is the carrots and the roast parsnips. The reason why I prepare the carrots is because I roast the carrots as well as the parsnips. Roast carrots are god food. I prepare them early just so that it's another thing that's out of the way, and that way I can get the cleaning up started early, because I think one of the things that puts people off of cooking a roast dinner is actually the clearing up. Rich and I have a great system. Whoever cooks doesn't do the washing up, but most of the time I do most of the washing up anyway because it's easier to get it done early. I've always enjoyed cooking a roast dinner. It's always kind of been one of those things that is just my preferred thing to cook, because I know all the time, as long as I know the timings, it's okay. Whenever I go from cooking the meats I know how to cook to the meats I don't know how to cook, that's when it goes wrong, because I don't know how long it takes. So Google's my best friend when I'm cooking things. I cooked a roast beef for the first time quite recently, which went well, but I didn't enjoy cooking it as much, and me and Rich really enjoy gammon, so that's what we have a lot of the time. If we have a chicken, we'll only have a chicken when we've got people coming over, because a whole chicken isn't worth us cooking for, because there's just too much of it. And as much as, like, I'll try and give, the dog has a roast dinner whenever we have a roast dinner. She's very spoiled. And then the cats will have some. And we'll try to use the chicken later on that week, but it's just quite difficult to use a whole chicken. Whereas if we're using a gammon joint, we can choose the gammon joint, which is a little bit smaller. This is a massive carrot. I don't think I'm even, that's half of it. It's girthy. I'm always paranoid about cutting myself. See? This one carrot is going to be enough for us, for our roasted carrots. That one carrot has done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 roast carrots for 2 people. And then I'm just going to put them into a roasting dish. I try to put the carrots and the parsnips in one and then the roast potatoes in another. Usually there's not that many roast potatoes, so I might put the gammon in with the roast potatoes, but I'll just see how it pans out really. I was texting my friend about this the other day. He was like, how's vlogging going? Because he helped me with purchasing my new MacBook. And I go, well, I didn't bother with a weekly this week because it's just the same as last week. I went to work, I did exercise, I walked the dog. I went to work, I did exercise, I walked the dog. So, but I said, oh, I'm doing a cook with me this week. He goes, oh, what are you cooking? Can I know? Yeah, of course you can know. I'm doing a roast dinner. How to make the best roast potatoes ever. He goes, what? With goose fat? No, Rob. Not with goose fat. Although that probably would emphasise the flavour. So if you wanted to cook them with goose fat, that would be a good idea too. But we don't have goose fat. And I'm not really a big fan of it. Just adds extra calories when those calories could be used on eating more potatoes. I'm a potato girl, me. I can hear you, but I won't. Some look for trouble while others don't. There's 1,000 reasons I should go about my day and ignore your whispers that I wish would go away. You're not a voice, you're just a ringing in my ear. And if I heard you, which I don't, I'm spoken for, I fear. And everyone I've ever loved is here within these walls. I'm sorry, secret siren, but I'm blocking out your calls. Had my adventure, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid of what I'm risking if I follow you into the unknown. Into the unknown. Into the unknown. That's such a good film, Frozen 2. Controversial opinion. Frozen 2 is better than Frozen 1. Is that controversial? It's got a better storyline, hasn't it? Much better storyline. And Kristoff singing Lost in the Woods is probably my favourite Disney thing of recent years. Because I just think, what more could you want? He's pretending he's an 80s boy band. And 80s music is the dawn. So, that is my roast carrots and my roast parsnips. I'm just going to leave them out. Just I'm just going to leave them out and drizzle them with a little bit of oil, so that they won't go dry or anything like that. And then when the roast potatoes go in, they'll go in. So far, that's all the prep I need to do. So I'm going to wash up, put the dishwasher on, and put away the dry washing up. So I won't take you along for that journey, but I will check in with you with anything else I do. Hello, I'm back from my walk and preparations for the roast dinner are well underway. What we have got at the moment The roast potatoes have now got the heat on them. You can't see that very well. There you go, you can see they've got the heat. And the gammon is on the smallest one with the heat on really high. I just want to have that last, I just want to get that last bit of warmth through the gammon so that then the meat's really nice and juicy. And the roast potatoes, we just need to part boil them until a knife or a fork can go through them. We don't want them completely boiled because otherwise that's mashed potato, but we are going to part boil them. So that's going to be about 20 minutes or so. So I will catch up with you and keep you posted from there. I'm going to film now.
Break my neck.
Okay. The time has come to start the manic part of the roast dinner. I don't think it's that manic. It's just where everything starts going.
I even try. What can I do?
There we go. Time has come. The roast potatoes are done. The gammon is pretty much done. I've just left it on the low heat again. Oven is on. We are good to go. First step, I've drained the potatoes and they're in there. That's why I no longer have my glasses on. And I'm going to just empty them into my roasting tray. I might have overdone them just a little bit, but that's because I quite like them fluffy. And now I'm going to show you the tray.
To make it feel right, can't you stay just for the night? And I will always wonder why. I slept here before for too many days. It's not enough time to get me awake from feeling like I'm misunderstood. As I walk in to my opening scene, the actors feel like a dream and feeling like we're misunderstood. You're holding me up just with a kiss. You know in this life you just can't miss. And I wonder why I even try. What can I do to make it feel right? You just could stay just for the night.
In the oven, you'll turn these once and you'll turn those once. I'm going to pop these in an oven. I've got it on gas mark 8, but I just judge it on how high everything is. Make it quite high and then you know they're going to cook.
Well, do we do it?
Yeah, that's fine. Now what we're going to do, I need the little saucepan handle thing. We've got these this set of saucepans which was really cheap, but they don't have a handle on all of them.
It's
so
actually
one
fashion
handle
nowadays.
And then it does make it helpful for like storage and stuff though, doesn't it?
That's why we do it, because people have smaller things, don't they?
So we've got the gammon, and I'm actually going to keep a lot of the juices. I know it'll be really sugary, but we use a little bit of the juice for the gravy, which is really tasty. Turn that off.
What about for broccoli? Are we doing any veg?
Yeah, we're doing veg.
Okay.
Always do veg.
Tell me when you're going to stop speaking and I'll run you your coffee. But it takes about a minute, doesn't it?
And once the gammon is done, it goes into a dish. Make sure you keep the juices because not only does it have the sugary stuff, but it's got the gammon juices, which are really important. Clearly haven't opened this. This is maple syrup, but you can use honey or golden syrup, basically just something sweet to give it that little glow. This is what all you do, drizzle it over, and I'm going to use my tongs again so that I can baste the gammon in the syrup. And that's fine that that fat's coming off, because I'm not a big fan of the fat, so we can have that off. And you could make crackling with that, you could make whatever you fancy. And then we're just going to add a little bit of vegetable oil. You really don't want much when it comes to meats, because they do produce a lot of their own fats. No salt to gammon. It's a very salty meat, you do not want salt. Now that we've glazed it, now we've put some oil on it, I'm going to put it in an oven. Now if you do have a small oven, this might be a little bit difficult, but just put the meat in with the potatoes and your potatoes will taste even tastier. This is going to go into the oven at another high temperature so that you get that really nice crisp outer glaze. I have put all of that at the top of the oven because I don't really, I'll move it around because then certain things, so I've put the roast potatoes at the top so that then they can crisp quicker. I've put the gammon at the top because about 5-10 minutes before the end, I move that around, put the gammon right at the bottom and the Yorkshire puddings go at the top. Which leads me on nicely to the next bit, Yorkshire pudding. So Yorkshire puddings are mega easy to make. If you had scales that weren't frustrating. My scales don't have like proper buttons. So the scales that I'm using are these. Basically I want one that has a proper button so that it doesn't require me to like hover my finger over in order to tear it and change what level it is. So I'm probably going to look at some on Amazon and add some to an Amazon wish list or something. So if anyone wants to buy me scales, help fund my cooking addiction. So mega easy. I change the recipe that I use. So the recipe that I use serves like 6 people. There's 2 of us, and honestly it still makes about 12 Yorkshire puddings. Plain flour, 100 millilitres of milk. For the normal recipe that I get, it's 200 millilitres, and I'm going to use 2 eggs, but again it's halved, so it's usually 4. I'm going to put the flour in first, so let's have that working. Tear that. And I've got a nice little flour sifter, so you put the flour in and then do that, and it automatically sifts it rather than having to use a sieve, which is good fun. So this said 200, I think it said 200 grams. I'm just going to go for 200 grams. So it actually said 140 grams for the full amount of flour. So obviously I'm going to only use 70. I don't really know why you do it. I think it airs it out, but I should really look it up. That'll do. Close enough. Close enough. Okay. What I'm going to do now is put this aside, put that aside, whisk. So we can also remove the god-awful scales. Just do not like those scales. Right, let's add the milk first. I don't really have a process to how I add it. Is your batter. So anyone who gets frozen Yorkshire puddings, it's so much easier to just make them, because all you're doing is milk, egg, flour, and then some oil to cook them in, which I will show you shortly. So we've got the batter all ready now, and I'm just going to leave that. I'll probably pop it in the fridge. It's a nice smooth consistency, liquidy, just like pancake batter. That's all it really is pancakes. My next step, whenever I do a roast dinner, is to clean everything that I've used for the Yorkshire puddings, because cleaning as you go makes life a lot easier. Then I will prepare the vegetables that I'm going to be boiling. So today we've got petit pois and broccoli. I think I've got some asparagus, so maybe I'll do some asparagus. No, asparagus is a breakfast vegetable, isn't it? Asparagus wrapped in pancetta. With halloumi. Already thinking about breakfast tomorrow. The cat's just watching me, talking to my phone, like I'm a weirdo. You're the weirdo cat. I'm not going to show you the preparation of vegetables because that's, you know, everyone knows how to do that, don't they? I'm gonna make sure that I show you the important things. I always do, after I've done my vegetables, the next thing is stuffing. I don't quite know how you make stuffing, so that's not from scratch. This is what I use. I found this bag in... Where did I find it? I found the bag in Iceland, and it's a bag of sage and onion stuffing. If it was sausage meat stuffing, I'd know how to make it, but I really don't like sausage meat stuffing. So sage and onion stuffing it is, which I'm just going to follow the instructions for that. And I always have bread sauce with all of my dinners. Again, that is packet made because I have the packets and they're 30p. I think it's really easy to make bread sauce, so I'm going to try and make it at some point. Maybe my next roast dinner that I do, but I can't give you that yet because I don't know. Okay, we are at the point where I need to turn the potatoes. So I thought I'd bring you along for that little journey just so you can see how they're doing right now. This is current situation. So you've got some nice crispy bits there. And what we don't want to ruin is we don't want to ruin that. So that's why we only turn it once. I need an oven glove, that's what I need. So I don't get burnt. Current sitch, I'm going to put them back and I'm going to put them in the middle. The roast parsnips and the carrots have been moved to the top. Now the gammon will need turning again, so I'm going to turn that now. You can see the gammon's got a nice crisp on this side, so we're going to move them over and I'm going to use the tongs again just to get that crisp on the other side. At this point we are about 15 to 20 minutes ahead, ready to go, so what I'm now going to do is follow the instructions on the bread sauce and the sage and onion stuffing recipe to get that all sorted. And I'm going to enlist the help of Rich. So sauce system's go now. Rich is currently making the, what are you making? The gravy. We've got the stuffing in. I made the bread sauce. Final thing is the Yorkshire pudding. 5 to 10 minutes ago I got a baking dish, the ones that you make the cakes with, and I put some oil, just a little bit of oil in, and I've put it at the top of the oven right on the hottest heat you can get, because the important thing is to make sure it's hot. Really carefully pull that out. Do not want injuries. I don't know if it's hot enough, but I'm going to assume it is. What we then do is we're going to pour the Yorkshire mix in. You don't really need that much because it's going to rise. And this is why I say that I only do half, because this is going to make 12 pretty big Yorkshire puddings. Because I need to be a little bit steadier, I am using both my hands this time. But just slide that in. And let the babies rise. And that's pretty much your roast dinner done, really. I've got my bread sauce on, because I like it quite thick. The longer you leave your bread sauce on, the thicker it is. The veg are boiling. The roast potatoes and the roast carrots are done. So all that's left to do really is show the finished result. Here it is.
Teenage rebels leaving to go roam. Destined friends in the heat of the summer night. Destined friends in the heat of the summer night. We are meant to be
here. The rain won't fall until it's clear. We are 80 souls longing for more. Meant to be here. The rain won't fall until it's clear. We are aching souls longing for more. Longing for more. Longing for more. Longing for more.
Now for the moment of truth. Did the Yorkshire puddings survive? Did they survive? Ta-da! Now you can see a couple of them aren't as big as the others. One of them looks like, oh no, it's not flat, it's just the top of it's flat. But these are my tasty, yummy Yorkshire puddings. Stop eating the meat. Now the whole of YouTube says, here's that you're the meat thief. And these are the wonderful, easy to make Yorkshire puddings. So as you can see, even the ones that aren't that great kind of look like Aunt Bessie's. Richard just said I was being slanderous by saying that Aunt Bessie's not that great. But honestly, the Yorkshire puddings, they're so easy to make. That took about 10 minutes and it was done. So I'm going to dish up now and I'll show you the final result.
Lover to lover, hip to hip, sway and pop, way to dip. That's how we roll. Did you get invited to Jimmy's party? I want to go. Oh, how I want to go. Oh, I wish I could go. The rain won't fall until it's clear. We are 80